Hi, welcome to
the countdown to the release of Pokémon Scarlet and Violet!
So, in a bit of misdirection yesterday, I started talking about Generation 1 before going into my actual story, which was about Generation 3. Well, today, I'll get right to the point. Last time I talked about my first time ever beating a Pokémon game, so how about another first for me? What about my first time encountering a shiny Pokémon? This was also in Pokémon Sapphire version, on the same cartridge. But in order for why things happen the way they did to make sense, first I need to explain some things. Now, when I play one of these games, I more or less head straight for the end of the game right away. A typical playthrough for me involves starting the game and immediately focusing in on raising typically 3 to 6 Pokémon that I can take down the gym leaders and eventually the Elite Four with. I go as fast as I can and only stop to explore or do side content once I've beaten the main game. Well, Sapphire being my first ever Pokémon game, I wasn't exactly rushing through the game. I took my time, did a lot of exploring, and tried to see everything in the game there was to see before moving on to the next big objective. I even spent a lot of time dabbling in contests, which, as of now, much of my Pokémon knowledge is limited to the first 4 generations, but I'm pretty sure contests never came back after Generation 4, which is a shame because I feel like they were such a great side mode to the main game. Having every single battle move have its own unique type and effect in contests was a really neat way of giving moves you normally wouldn't use in battle a practical use. Building Pokémon and movesets for contests was encouraged. But anyways, I was in the middle of my Sapphire game, just running around between areas like normal. I happened to be crossing over from Verdanturf Town to Rustboro City for some reason, when, like one would expect, I encountered a wild Pokémon. But something was different about this one. This was a Whismur, but this one sparkled when it appeared and it had some green coloration to it. I was really confused. What did I do to trigger this? What would happen if I caught it? I checked my bag for Pokeballs and saw that I had very few. I really wanted to guarantee I'd catch this Pokemon. Thankfully, I had a low-level HM user in my party, so I switched to it and used its least powerful move. And then that move landed a critical hit. The mysterious Whismur fainted, and I was confused. Whatever, I'd just find another one, right? I ran back and forth for a bit to see if this sparkly Whismur would reappear, but a few attempts later, I did not see it. I went back to town, stocked up on supplies, and went back to the tunnel. I encountered Whismur after Whismur, but none of them were green. Was I crazy? Had I just imagined myself seeing this? What game mechanic or event had triggered this one Pokemon to look different? Whatever. It was probably not a big deal, and I'd find out eventually. Not too long in the future, I was with my friend, the same one that I mentioned in yesterday's story, and we were just talking about random stuff. I happened to mention that I had found this differently colored Whismur that sparkled in Rustboro Tunnel and didn't know what it meant. He went dead silent. This might be the most serious I had ever seen the guy. "Did you catch it?" he asked intensely. The energy here felt like I had just pulled the winning number in the lottery. I didn't understand why. "No, I couldn't catch it," I slowly admitted. What followed was the most frustrated I've ever seen this guy get at me. This turned from silence to just pure ranting for about a minute straight. "What? You didn't catch it? What were you thinking?" I interrupted him, asking what it was. "That was a shiny Pokemon. Do you even understand how rare a shiny Pokemon is?" What followed was a tirade filled with analogies illustrating just how rare shiny Pokemon supposedly were. I actually felt like an idiot. My friend here, who had played the game more than me and knew more about the game than me, had never encountered one of these, and here I was, having seen one myself, and I missed the opportunity to catch one. Of course, it wasn't really that big of a deal. We never talked about it again after those few minutes, but I'll never forget that sudden wave of frustration that came over someone when they found out I had missed out on catching a shiny Whismur. So no, I never caught a shiny on my Sapphire game, at least during that time of my life. But What was the first shiny Pokemon I ever caught as a kid? Well, I've got the answer to that question, but that will have to wait until tomorrow. Good night, everyone.